Assalamu alaikum. Barcelona 3, Elche 1. And as a Real Madrid fan, I am just jealous. At this point, I am jealous. And I've been jealous. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I am jealous at the way Barcelona is performing, and I'm not ashamed to say it. Right? I'm jealous of the way Bayern is performing. I'm jealous of the way who else is performing good. I don't know. Maybe Sporting in the UCL, right? Unexpectedly, they're doing good. Arsenal, I'm very jealous of Arsenal. I'm very jealous of those teams that are just doing good, and even if they do struggle, they still do manage to win. They manage to show that they're actually trying to get a win instead of just slacking off and just waiting until the last couple of minutes to try to get a goal or try to win the game or draw the game. Real Madrid, there's a lot of problems with them. We know this. But watching this game, you guys can just tell Barcelona, even though they were struggling, yes, to many Barcelona fans, this probably is not a good game, right? It was not the best game, a lot of struggle, and the worst case scenario was that there was no finishing abilities at all. There was no players that could finish the ball, no players that could put the ball in the back of the net. And also, the worst thing that's happened is that probably Raphinha is injured because of that substitution and the way he looked when he was grabbing on his, I believe it was his somewhere around his waist or his leg. I forgot where it was, but hopefully all is well with Raphinha, as well with Pedri. But look, man, you guys know me, bro. I'm a Real Madrid fan. I love Real Madrid and forever a Madridista. But at the same time, bro, what is this team that I'm watching? Not this game, but Real Madrid. Compared to Barcelona, right, as of right now, as of recently, the past 2 years, Barcelona is the most dominant team in La Liga. And when you're comparing Real Madrid to Barcelona based off performances, based off who's winning more and who's losing, Barcelona is clearly the favorites to win every single tournament they are in. Maybe besides the UCL, because they're up against giants like Bayern, Arsenal, Sporting, and all these other teams in the knockout stages. But we're not a threat to them anymore. I don't know if they see us as a threat, but yes, we did beat them in the beginning of the season, right? But like I said, and my words were true. They were missing Raphinha, who in my opinion is their most important player, and they were missing Juan Garcia, who is also one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and they were missing him. So even though our second game was close when we did go up against them, Barcelona is still the clear favorites in my opinion. I don't see them struggling, not just against us, but against any other competition they're in, any other games that they're in, any other tournaments that they're in, any other trophies that they're competing for. And speaking specifically about this game, even though Barcelona did struggle a lot, I don't think it was a struggle where it was like they were going to lose, because whoever watched this game, you guys know or knew they were going to win because of a couple of things. The first one is being the ball possession, right? And I've always said that. The second thing is the tempo, right? They always control the tempo, the momentum, right? When any team does that, not just Barcelona, you guys should know that most likely, right? I'm saying like maybe 95% of the chances that team is going to win the match no matter what. And so far, every single team Barcelona has faced, and you guys cannot name me a single one, right, that controlled the ball, that controlled the momentum, the tempo more than Barcelona. Every single game that I watch Barcelona play, they've always been controlling the tempo or momentum. And if they're not, let's say they're not, probably I'm missing one, right, that they're not. But if they're not, they are still going to match the tempo they're being played at. If the opponent is playing slow, they're still going to keep it fast-paced. If the opponent is making it a fast-paced tempo, they're still going to make it a fast-paced tempo throughout the 90 minutes. That is the Barcelona that we know. That is the Barcelona that has been the same since last season. Nothing changed. Everything's the same, from the high line to the tactics to the attacking. Everything is the same under Hansi Flick. And that's honestly props to Hansi Flick. Without Hansi Flick, I don't know where this Barcelona team would have been. I think a lot of players would have left. A lot of players would have gotten sold. So sacking Xavi was a huge decision to make, but I think it was the best and the right decision to make at that moment, at that time. But looking at the game real quick, let's look at the lineup. A player that I do want to highlight is Ferran Torres, because how in the world did he get an 8.6 rating? I need somebody to explain that to me. That goal should not have brought him up that much. Look at this. So just look at this chart right here, and you tell me what you see. You're telling me a player with an 8.6 performance drop this or have this many finishes. It's impossible. I would still prefer Ferran to start over Lewandowski. In my own opinion, Ferran is more better as of right now. I'm not saying of all time, obviously, as of right now than Lewandowski. In terms of like keeping up with the tempo, in terms of playing pressing and playing defense at moments or at times, tracking back, I think it's Ferran Torres the most. Lewandowski, we all know, right? He's reaching that age, and age is the only thing that beats a man. So, I try to sound like wise, but you guys know what I meant. But yeah, Ferran Torres dropped a stinker this game. That goal shouldn't distract you from the fact that he was horrible this game, and he missed a lot of chances. Not just him, but also Fermin Lopez, who also missed a lot of chances. But for a center midfielder, you guys know that this should not have defined him. And as we know, he does play as an attacking midfielder, so he was playing out of position. But he does also play center midfielder, and he didn't do that bad compared to Ferran Torres. Lamineyamal, man of the match, the best player on the pitch, and creating a lot of chances, doing a lot of dribbling. You guys can see, right? He completed the most dribbles, and he created the most chances, and that's what's important for the game. And Lamineyamal is known for that, for his dribbling, for creating chances, for his passes. But obviously, this wasn't his best game or one of the best games, but he was still an important player on the pitch. Raphinha, he did have to get subbed off. I hope, like I said, there was no injury or anything that happened to him. He was also doing good. He was doing his part. I feel like his rating would have been higher if he had more minutes, but he did have to get substituted. Hansi Flick had to substitute him off, had to sub him off, however you want to say it. I can't even speak. Another player that I did want to highlight was De Jong, honestly. Without Pedri, De Jong has been doing his role, and he has been creating his chances. He's been controlling that midfield. He's been dropping back to help the defensive lineup or the back line. So props to De Jong. He's also one of the most important players, especially under Hansi Flick. In my own opinion, I think he improved a lot under Hansi Flick compared to when he played with Xavi, and I believe there was another manager before him. But yeah, De Jong was also an important player. Cubarsí, honestly, I don't know what's going on with Cubarsí. This season has been different than last season, but he's still young. There's a lot to improve. He's, in my opinion, has been doing his role as well, but not to the point where it was the same as last season. And to be fair, right, Elche tried their best. I just think that Barcelona is a team that overwhelms the opponent, and it's to a point where the team, whoever they're going up against, just can't take. It's to a point where they just can't take it, right? And you guys can tell Elche was just tired. They just couldn't keep up, right? Their defense couldn't keep up. Their midfield couldn't keep up. There was chances where they had, right, where they were making these surprise runs, and the passes were coming in from the back, but they just couldn't finish it. You guys can see they were just huffing and puffing, and they just couldn't finish their chance. They couldn't do anything, Elche. In the beginning, obviously, they were doing their role and they were doing good, but it just came to a point where they just couldn't do what they wanted to do. Their game plan probably flew out the window, because if you guys know, right, whoever has played football, whoever has played any other sport, whoever does any other sport, when you're out of breath and everything, you just look at the time and then just want it to end. All right, that's what I think Elche players were like. But they did have a lot of fight in them, so shout out to them. Looking at the table really quick, so Elche, they're 12th position. They're in the middle of the table. I don't know why. I thought they were facing relegation, but they're not. Mallorca, surprisingly, is facing relegation as of right now. But yeah, Barcelona right now, they are 4 points ahead of us, and we do have to win tomorrow. And our game tomorrow, it's against Rayo Vallecano. And as you guys know, I've been saying this, all right? I'm going to spend this time of the video speaking about the next game, our next game, right? We are going to struggle against any team. It doesn't matter who it is. We've been struggling. We got this one random team on Twitter calling us out. That's the Real Madrid. That's where Real Madrid is at right now. We're at that level where these teams from unknown leagues are just calling us out, and they want to play us. They want to get recognition. It's embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. But Perez doesn't care. The board doesn't care. The manager doesn't care. The players don't care. As long as they get money in their pockets, as long as they're getting playing time, as long as the manager does what they say, right, nothing is going to go their way in terms of getting good results. And I hope nothing goes their way. I hope nothing good happens to Real Madrid. And you guys might say that I am a fake fan, but I'm not. If this is what a fake fan looks like to you, then yeah, I'll be a fake fan. because I'm not going to let that affect the club's history and what it stands for. You guys know Real Madrid's history is rich, filled with success, trophies, performances, moments, right? Real Madrid, the biggest club in history. And you're expecting us to just barely win, barely get passed by, barely do the bare minimum, not having respect for the manager, not listening to the board. You guys know that is not Real Madrid. That is not the Real Madrid I know. I don't know if you guys know another Real Madrid. Players do not matter to me. I'm at that point where players don't matter to me. I don't care about Vinicius. I don't care about Mbappe. I don't care about Rodrigo. I don't care about Arda, Bellingham, whoever it may be. The only player that I care about is Courtois. That's the only player that I care about. And that's the player that deserves to get what he wants. If he wants more money, give it to him. If he wants less playing time, give it to him. If he wants to go on vacation, give it to him. Courtois is the only Real Madrid player that deserves anything positive. The rest of them are filled with ego. If not, they're filled with just, I don't know how to even explain it. I've never seen it before. For example, I'm going to give Barcelona as an example. You guys cannot see any single player in Barcelona that won't listen to Hansi Flick, whether they like it or whether they don't, right? Vinicius Jr. didn't like Xabi Alonso. He made it very clear to us fans and made it clear probably to the players and in the locker room. But you guys have to understand, the manager is above the players every single time. It happened in Manchester United. It happened even in Real Madrid. Every single time, a manager is above the players. But now suddenly, when we have Mbappe, when we have Vinicius, Bellingham, the world's biggest stars in one team, and now you're prioritizing them over our manager, prioritizing them over results, prioritizing them over the club's history and what they stand for. Is that the standard that we're at right now? Is that the Real Madrid that is going to be remembered as? Because this season, last season, is not going to be forgotten at all. It won't be forgotten that we got knocked out by Arsenal. It won't be forgotten that we got those 2 free kicks, amazing free kicks. It won't be forgotten that we went trophyless. It won't be forgotten that we lost in 2 years in a row, 2 finals to Barcelona. It won't be forgotten that Benfica had a crazy comeback against us to stay alive in the Champions League and has the opportunity to knock us out of the Champions League. That won't be forgotten in history. But what did the players, what did the board, what did the manager do in order to not make the same mistakes happen again? Nothing. Listen to the players. That's what Perez did. Listen to the players. Somebody made Vinny cry. Get him out. Somebody made Mbappe upset. Get him out. It's just insane to me. That is not normal to me. I cannot see this as normal and just stay quiet about it. Now, I could be wrong. Probably this never happened behind the scene because they're going to come out, right, and say in press conferences that this doesn't happen. But look at Arbeloa, what he says in press conferences compared to Xabi Alonso. Arbeloa, any single time there's something bad or negative that is being said about our players, what does he say? He automatically goes and point the fingers at me. It's my fault. I'm the one to blame. He did that for 2 matches in a row where we've lost. 2 in a row. And if we lose tomorrow, he's going to make a 3. And I promise you that. Because Perez told him specifically that you're going to be the manager for this team, for the first team, and you're going to take blame. You're just going to be there as just like a figure. He's just there to make substitutions, and that's it. But he can't touch Vinicius, he can't touch Mbappe, and he can't touch Bellingham. You cannot touch them. You could touch any other players, but not them. That is just embarrassing, honestly. And that is why I don't want to see Real Madrid succeed. And that's why, right, shout out to End the Stream Dave. He changed his name to Dave Talks Madrid, I think. Shout out to him because he said this as well. He wants to see the Bernabeu just boo and whistle Real Madrid players. Do that exactly, and do that to Arbeloa as well. Whoever is around Perez, do that around Perez as well. Because if the team is not doing any changes right away where the standard is being held high, like up here where everybody's been telling me, then let's make our standards high based off the Madrid fans' reaction. Let's remind Perez, right? Let's remind the players that this is Real Madrid. And it all depends on the club. It all depends on the fans and how they want to react to it. So let me know what you guys think about this game. Let me know what you guys think about Barcelona versus Elche. Do you think Real Madrid is going to close the gap, or do you think we're going to just stay 4 points away from Barcelona? Let me know your opinion. Put it in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. And also, make sure that you do subscribe. A lot of you guys are not subscribed, and I'm trying to hit 300 subscribers. So make sure you do subscribe. It's for free. It doesn't hurt anybody. It won't hurt you. So just subscribe. Thank you very much. And until then, Assalamu alaikum.